Check, test, 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 test. Hello, check. Hello, 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 hello. Check. Hello. ठीक है. Hello, check. Hello. Cheers. वो लगाओ उधर लगाओ. Hello, hello, hello. Check 1 2. Hello, 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 hello.
morning, everyone. I hope that you've got yourselves registered. If not, please, the registration desk is open. Please get yourselves registered. We are about to begin in next 15 minutes. Thank you. May I please request everyone to please settle in another 5 minutes. May we please request everyone to be seated so that we begin the program. Requesting everyone to please be seated. We begin in 2 minutes.
Good morning, everyone. White Ribbon Alliance India. White Ribbon Alliance India and Japago welcome all of you today in the celebrations of the International Day of the Midwife 2023. This is a special day for all of us to collectively affirm, applaud, and amplify the life saving and life promoting work of midwives in bringing high quality, respectful, and women centric care to all women and babies in India. It's a moment for all of us to collectively take a look at the progress we have made in institutionalizing midwifery in India by recognizing the key wins and learnings to build resilient health systems with midwives' voices and leadership at the center. We thank the midwifery leaders, champions, program implementers, and uh, partners who are with us today from all across India and hope that today is a great day for learning and exchange of thoughts and ideas for an enabling ecosystem for midwives in India, while also being a moment for celebrations and fun. Over to my co-MC, Abhilasha.
The midwives, the givers of life. The midwives, the givers of life, guiding and supporting through pain and strife. This day serves as an opportunity to recognize the critical role that midwives play in promoting quality maternal and newborn health. Let's come together to advocate for policies and practices that support the work of midwives and improve maternal and child health outcomes in India. We have an exciting agenda lined up for this morning. So let's get started. It's time for me to invite Dr. Sumesh Kumar, Country Director, Japaigo, India, for the opening remarks. And may I please request you to then be seated on the dais. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Good morning, all. A very warm welcome to everybody on this auspicious day of International Day of Midwives 2023. This journey started in 2019, as you may know. So we are around less than 4 years old in this journey. I mean, the journey I should not state started in 2019. It was much before that, but the last milestone was in 2019 when a delegation catalyzed by funding from the Gates Foundation went to Vancouver for Global Midwifery Symposium at the Women Deliver Conference. And they visited midwifery-led care units and midwifery-led care centers and policies for at British Columbia. Actions at the government level, which has to be here today. I think it's a very important and pivotal point in the history of MNH care evolution in India. We have come a long way where we have now come to a MMR of less than 100 per 100,000 live births. But these numbers of 97 per 100,000 live births or NMR of less than 30, less than 20, they don't say everything about um, the kind of care a woman, a girl needs in her life course. And beyond these numbers are a lot of dimensions of care that that need attention by investing in the health workforce, especially in the workforce of midwifery, and that has been recognized by the global community, and we are here to take take those learnings forward in our country. So after 2019, a lot of progress has been made. 16 SMTIs and NMTIs total have been created in less than 3 years. Remember, there was COVID in between 2 years. So I think it's a very important occasion to celebrate today. There are a lot of headwinds. These policy changes, these movements where you make a pivotal shift in the way care is being delivered by introducing a new part in the workforce. These are not easy. These have a lot of headwinds at all levels, both policy, finance, program, and of course, it was not helped by COVID. So I think we should today is the occasion to celebrate the success that we made over last 3 years, and also take a moment to reaffirm our commitment because there's a lot of work to be done, and also recognizing that this work cannot be done by anybody else. So we are very fortunate to have leadership by the government of India, which is represented by Dr. Padmini Kashyap today, uh, the nursing advisor from the government of India. So it's something that needs a lot of partners. So I will recognize our stakeholders who are present today. So we have Dr. Padmini Kashyap, Deputy Commissioner, Maternal Health Division from Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, Government of India. Dr. Deepika Khaka, Nursing Advisor, Ministry of Health, Government of India. Our beloved Dr. T. Dilip Kumar, President and Indian Nursing Council. Ms. Medha Gandhi, Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. Dr. Rishikesh Pai, President Foxy. Again, Foxy will be an important stakeholder in this journey. He will join after the morning tea. Ms. Mitali Adhikari, President for SOMI. Lieutenant Colonel Dr. Sarojit Kaur, Secretary, Indian Nursing Council. Uh, and my co-host, last but not the least, my co-host and co-conspirator, Dr. Aparajita Gogoi, who will be speaking after me. So I think we do this work in partnership with WRI, and we recognize that this work is an effort of not one organization. It is an effort of partnership and collaboration between many organizations. So I should be making sure that I mention all those organizations as well, recognizing everybody's effort. So starting with UNFPA, UNICEF, WHO, and other and partners like Astrika Foundation and Fernandez Foundation. Japaigo is very proud to partner with all of you and are making our little bit of contribution in this effort. So my CEO, Dr. Leslie Mancuso, you'll be very happy to know she is a nurse, and she introduces herself as a nurse. Japaigo is a pretty reasonably sized organization, and to be led by a nurse, it's an example that she sets and the organization sets for us working in countries, that what nursing leaders can do, and given the right opportunity. And I'll want to read a quote from her, and she says, there should be no lingering question that investing in midwifery and nursing saves lives and livelihoods. She says, invest in their education, invest in their retention, invest in their leadership, and most importantly, invest in re-envisioning what they can and they should be doing every day in the thousands of communities across our country. So that's what I believe we are here to do, envisioning what they can do, both at the care delivery level, at the leadership level, at the policy and program discourse level. So I reaffirm our Japaigo's commitment to this multi-stakeholder collaborative effort led by Government of India, and congratulate everybody on the International Day of Midwife 2023. Hopefully, this day and then the subsequent upcoming International Day of Nurses for 2023 will be a start of a new decade of change led by nurses and midwives in India. With this, I hand it over back to our MCs for the day. Thank you very much and have a great day ahead.
Thank you, Dr. Sumesh, for your motivational words. You are the force that keeps us going. I now invite Dr. Aprajita Gogoi, ED C3 and National Coordinator, White Ribbon Alliance India, for the opening remarks. And may I request you then to please be seated on the dais. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Avilasha. Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for coming here, being with us today. And it's really my privilege to welcome all of you to this event on the eve of the International Day of Midwives. Primarily, we are gathered here to recognize the contribution of midwives in improving maternal health, newborn health, and also overall SRH. I would like to begin by thanking the Government of India, the MH Division, MOHFW specifically, Dr. Padmini Kashyap and her team, who's helped Japago and us to put together this particular event. And at the very beginning, I also want to acknowledge the support that we have received by Dr. Dilip Kumar, Dr. Khaka, all the development partners, SOMI, TNEI, Astrika Foundation, Fernandez Foundation, all the nurses and midwives who are here today, the IMEs, NMEs, all of you, thank you so much, not just for being here today, but for carrying forward the flag of midwifery for the mothers and babies of this country. It will be amiss if I don't repeat what Somesh talked about, how India also needs to celebrate how we have brought down our maternal mortality in the last 10 to 15 years. All of you know that our MMR stands at 97, and this rapid decline is really the result of multiple targeted interventions by the Government of India with the objective of addressing all aspects of maternal and newborn care. And while we celebrate our journey, our achievements, we also know that usually the last mile is the toughest. And if we want to win the battle of the last mile, I personally believe that nurses and midwives are going to be the real game changer, because midwives and nurses can reach the last woman in a marginalized village where it might be otherwise difficult for our health system to reach. So on this day, when we celebrate uh, the work of midwives, we also want to acknowledge their role in saving the lives of mothers and newborns. And I think as the world and India also moves in centralizing respectful maternity care, there is evidence, and women always tell us that midwives are that really special cadre which helps them through the journey of childbirth. Midwives help them in labor management, in pain management, in reducing unnecessary reliance on unnecessary C sections, and also reducing medical interventions. But most importantly, midwives offer emotional strength to women and really empower women to act on their choices. If you are giving birth, if you want a partner who would be your emotional support from the system, I would say that midwives are what you are looking for. When Government of India had launched the midwifery initiative, and we had done some research in the height of COVID, where we spoke to women and to health providers to really understand how could one position this new cadre? After all, it's a new cadre being presented. And in the research, when we were trying to figure out the branding and positioning, what we repeatedly heard women talk about how would they like to perceive midwives or how do they perceive midwives, they said that they look to midwives to provide women centric, compassionate care which respects every woman's choices and provides what works at her pace. And I think this is something central that we have to keep in mind when we are introducing and kind of welcoming this cadre to be part of our integrated health system. A little bit about kind of White Ribbon Alliance and our commitment to maternal health and midwifery. As you all know, we are an alliance of over 5,000 organizations. We all have our day jobs. I work for Center for Catalyzing Change. There are multiple people here. We have members of our executive committee here who have given 24 years of their lives to try and bring about um, commitment and volunteerism to work on improving the lives of women and children. And I think when you look back today, if you look at where we started off in 1999 till today, India has really achieved a lot. And I think that's the reason why White Ribbon is extremely keen to be part of the midwifery journey. And honestly, I think the White Ribbon Alliance is really, really privileged to be present at that point in history where the Nurse Practitioners Midwifery Initiative is being rolled out. We stand by to support in the creation of an enabling environment where midwives can practice and not just practice, but also flourish. And we are here to support the government of India, the state governments, the professional associations in doing whatever is required in order to make midwifery a reality and available to women in this country. We would like to thank BMGF, specifically Anchita and Medha, for being with us, for supporting us in order to carry the work forward. And last but not the least, thank you, Jupaiga, thank you, Sumesh, not just for this event, for partnering for this event, but being a co-traveler as we kind of, make midwifery-led care a reality in this country. I would now like to end, but I have a request for you all. I think we need to acknowledge the contribution of midwives in the country and the world over with a huge round of applause. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Aprajita. It is always a good idea to hear you. Due to emergent exigencies of service, Ma'am Priyanka Das, Mission Director, National Health Mission, Madhya Pradesh, is unable to make it with us for the event. However, she has communicated her best wishes to each and every one of us present here.
It's a pleasure and an honor to now call upon Dr. Padmini Kashyap, Deputy Commissioner in the Maternal Health Division of the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare Government of India, whose vision and leadership in various maternal health policies and programs has enabled key change towards the SDGs, to share her insights on how midwives are a critical need within the maternal and newborn health workforce towards achieving the SDGs. Over to you, ma'am.
A very good morning, everyone. And I would like to, first of all, congratulate Dr. Somesh and his entire team at Japaigo for organizing and curating this very important event today, as we together are celebrating the International Day of Midwives. And there's so much to speak about. And as like my previous speakers have already told, midwives are the future of our country. So this is something that I would like to start with. And of course, to all my state maternal health nodals, midwifery nodals, to all the partners, to all the delegates here, to all the midwives, most of all the NPMs, the NPMEs, the IMEs, a very happy International Midwifery Day to all of you. This is given and this is undeniable that to have quality services in the system, to have a trained and skilled midwife is something that we require for a strong, resilient health system. And there is enough global evidence to indicate that. And we as a country are definitely working towards achieving to have a good pool or a trained pool of midwives in our system. This is totally undeniable that midwives are the need of the hour, and definitely as a country we are working in partnership with our definitely donor organizations, our state nodals, the professional organizations. Everyone is working together as a team, and this is encouraging. uh, Coming to the global evidence, when I talk about the SOMI report, it is heartwarming to see that the efforts in the country have been recognized in the SOMI report 2021. In fact, what caught my attention was the fact, what it stated was that a universal coverage of midwifery-led intervention can avert around 83% of maternal and neonatal deaths. Now, this is something which is in an ideal situation, I'll say. Rather, this is something that we are striving to achieve. But the more important part is that even if you provide a 10% coverage of midwifery led interventions, it can have a huge impact on the maternal and neonatal deaths. Now, when I talk about our country, this 10%, this is huge, huge numbers for India. And these huge numbers are what gets translated into MMR, into mortalities, into infant mortalities, neonatal mortality. So that is why this rather, reinforces our commitment to have midwives in our system. Now, talking about MMR, as my previous speakers, Dr. Somesh, Dr. Gogoi, they have very beautifully highlighted our journey since last so many years. We have already achieved the NHP target. We are at 97, and definitely the way the MMR has been declining over the years, of course, it is a collaborative effort. We definitely are going to achieve our SDG target. Even beyond that, most of our southern states are already at it. They are much lower. They are even less than 70. Kerala is at 19. So yes, everybody is working collaboratively. Everybody is at it. Everybody wants to achieve the SDG target. I have something more to say. Let's not talk about the SDG targets. I feel every woman in our country should get a healthy pregnancy, a healthy childbirth, and a safe motherhood. I think that is something that we need to strive for. This is something more than numbers or more than grades or ratios. This is the way I think we all should be working and looking towards it. Uh, Again, if I talk about the global data about maternal mortality, and if I talk about it in Indian context, so globally there has been a stagnancy in terms of maternal mortality ratio since 2016. Now, in contrast, the CRO region, or more so, India, I'll say, because whatever happens in India, it definitely changes the global landscape. So we have seen that steep decline, and that steep decline is a result of strategic planning, evidence-backed policies. Definitely, those policies they actually were implemented, they were rolled out uh, to the grassroots level. And as Dr. Prajita rightly said, to reach the last mile remains the most difficult part of all. And this is what we are also striving to achieve, because we all know there are gaps in the system. Any system, be it the health system, any kind of system, there are the gaps which you feel, which you need to fulfill to have those kind of desired results. So we are also working towards that, and midwifery is one such intervention where we feel it would be able to plug in those gaps which have been left apart right now. So what our RMNCHS strategy is very much aligned with the global strategies and targeting towards universal health coverage. Now, when I'm talking about health coverage, definitely quality is one thing which I cannot leave. No, no. And any service, previously we were talking about the service provision. Now we have moved to quality service provision, and going further, it is service with respect, quality service with respect. And this is what forms the core of the midwifery services. Now, coming to these midwifery services, I feel they are going to be a force multiplier when I'm talking about the service provision. And till date, since the time of launch, the government has been working really hard, and we have come out not only with the policy, but also, as Dr. Somesh said, 16 NMTIs. Of course, I'll say out of those 16, we have 5 NMTIs functioning as national midwifery training institutes. Many of our states have gone ahead. They have actually started functionalization of the SMTIs in their respective states. Telangana is one state to give a good example where their labor rooms are manned by the NPMs. And this is the kind of model that we are looking at in all the states of our country, where we will have midwives actually operating the labor room and providing services to the major chunk of our pregnant women. So that is a dream, that is a vision that we have for our country. Now, we have these NMTIs, we have these SMTIs, we have multiple documents which have been, prepared. They have been launched, say in terms of the curriculum, the LRPs, the scope of practice. We are still working towards many of the pendencies, so it's going to be a very very long journey. So now, if I look at this success story, I feel that we also need to introspect, because we have to take learnings from the past and present, and to see what more needs to be done. Now, the next thing is that we need to integrate this upcoming workforce into our existing health system. And that is going to be a bit tricky. That is going to be a challenge. And this is what now we should focus on. If I say integration, how we can optimize, how we can optimally utilize this workforce into the present system, and how we can harmonize, rather, to have that kind of a harmonized team, interdisciplinary team working together as one across the facilities, across the labor rooms. And near future, I do not visualize our midwives to be present only in the MLCUs and providing delivery services. No, they have to have that wide spectrum where they are actually taking the lead over across all the RM and CHA services. And this is what that we desire. This is what that we need to work towards. So this particular aspect can only come if we actually have that kind of a strong training, strong education, good training, and we are able to turn out skilled midwives in our system. We need to have those quality standards for our education. We need to sustain that quality education and training for our midwives. And it is for this reason that our country opened doors to the international midwifery educators, so that the training of these midwives is actually at par with the international standards, with the ICM standards. And more so, what we need in future is to have these midwifery-led units to be established throughout the country. So these are some of the things that right now we need to focus on together collaboratively. So I think we are going to have a good day here, a long day, and I'm looking forward to have some very very fruitful discussions coming out of this consultation today. So all the very best, and thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am, for your passionate call to action. As always, your words are so inspiring.
I now invite Dr. Deepika Kaka, Nursing Advisor, Directorate General of Health Services, Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, who has more than 3 decades of experience in the nursing profession in various capacities as an inspiring nursing leader and outstanding researcher and academician, for her special remarks on unveiling the theme of IDM 2023. Over to you, ma'am.
Well, greetings from Directorate General of Health Services, Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, Government of India. The theme of the International Day of Midwife 2023 is Together Again from Evidence to Reality. Now, as deliberated earlier, that investing in midwife has given very promising results. And when we make our practice evidence based, the health outcomes improve tremendously. The evidence of making an investment in midwives is compelling and goes much beyond the well known benefits, such as better outcomes for women and newborns when cared by the midwife. They play a pivotal role in the provision of primary health care, contributing to the broader health goals, including self care interventions, empowering women and adolescent girls, and recognizes the efforts by midwives and their associations into practice their existing global evidences. We all are aware that the International Confederation of Midwives promotes, defends, supports midwives and midwives professionals around the globe. This constitutes currently 140 associations of midwives and 119 nations, including India, as a part of this. Approximately 27 million men and women constitute the global nursing and midwife workforce, and this accounts to almost 50% of the global workforce of nursing and midwives. And we know that the services which we are offering are not only focused to the hospital care settings, but there's a whole spectrum of services which we are providing at different levels, like primary, secondary, and various varied and versatile roles are played by the nurses and the midwives. As told by Dr. Padmani, it is the right of every woman to have access to midwifery care for her child and the woman. And it is the responsibility of the midwife to provide not only the care during pregnancy, but also preconception care, care during the pregnancy, postnatal care, even family planning is included in that. So the midwives play a very pivotal role in the health promotion, disease prevention, delivering of primary and community care of all the women so that they can have safe access to quality care. And apart from quality, respectful care is also part and parcel of the quality care which we have been talking about. So investing in midwives promotes healthy outcomes. It promotes inclusive and equitable growth and promotes economic stabilization, also including an impact on the microeconomics of the nation. So the package in total of midwifery care, as told by Dr. Padmani, the report suggests that it has a very promising report saying that 83% of it has a positive impact to around 83% of maternal deaths, stillborns and newborns. And I'm very happy to know that there are 16 NMTIs and SMTIs in the country, which is a very promising way forward. As Dr. Sumesh was saying, the journey started around 2019, and a lot of deliberations, a lot of brainstorming, a lot of efforts were put into the policy and then making it roll. And I would also like to put on record that I would like to thank the partners for their contribution, thank the IMEs, the educators, and the NPMs for doing a phenomenally good job and making a difference in the lives of women and children. And we all know that the quality of education which has been imparted in these NMTIs and SMTIs of international standards, and this could not happen without the support of Indian Nursing Council. Midwives also help in bridging the gap between the communities and the healthcare systems and providing a culturally sensitive and respectful care. As it was told that the midwives, why they prefer, women, why do they prefer midwives is because they feel that the care which is given to the women in labor is as per their pace and as per their choice. So that is what makes midwives very, very popular and among the women. Much has been done and much needs to be done, and there is a way forward. And this includes advocacy for policy changes to support midwife and midwifery training programs and the support partners and organizations to improve the maternal and newborn health around the world. And today, as we gather here to celebrate the International Day of Midwife, we should all unite and empower our NPMs and NPMEs to facilitate or to also facilitate and help and promote them to reach their goals. The Government of India has taken very proactive measures to invest in nursing education. According to the Global Strategic Development Goals on 21 to 25, which talks about four policy priorities, that is education, jobs, service delivery, and leadership. And the government is committed to work on these policy priorities. In that regard, we also know that 157 colleges of nursing have been declared by our Honorable Prime Minister, which will also make a whale of a difference in the quality of nursing education. So, the Government of India has highly skilled and compassionate cadre of midwives, and as Dr. Padmi was saying, that how we can, harmonize and optimize their services into our healthcare delivery system. Much work requires to be done, and much things are happening. It is in the pipeline. So together, when we celebrate this day, I would like to thank all the midwives for their contribution in the health of the nation, of the mother and the child. So thank you so much. And I hope we have a very fruitful and a productive day of brainstorming, deliberation, and trying to have an effort to make a difference. Thank you and Jai Hind.
Thank you, ma'am. I'm certain that under your leadership, we'll be achieving greater heights. It is an honor for me to now invite Dr. T. Dilip Kumar, President, Indian Nursing Council, to share his enlightening thoughts on building a midwifery workforce in India, challenges and opportunities. Over to you, sir.
Dr. Padmini Kashyap, Dr. Somesh, Dr. Aparajita, WHO representative as attending this very important ceremony, Dr. Deepika Kaka, Dr. Achala, Mrs. Kurana from All India Government Nurses Federation, Trained Nurses Association of India, SOMI, UNICEF, Bill Melinda Foundation, and international midwifery educators and distinguished, I think just now, I think we got Foxy President. So, first of all, I would like to, on behalf of the Indian Nursing Council, I would like to extend greetings to all of you for this International Midwife Day. May is a very important month for the nurses and midwives globally. May 5th is happened to be the International Midwife Day. May 12th is happened to be the International Nurses Day. So we have a lot of activities celebrating and euphoria of how nurses and midwives contributing to the healthcare delivery system. So in this perspective, I think at least nurse practitioner midwives, at least according to me, the journey started 2002 when I was in the Ministry of Health working as a nursing advisor. The word of a practitioner, with all due respect to the medical fraternity, was not taken very lightly. The word of a nurse practitioner. I think I want to remember the support which I got it at that time, Sujata Rao, where Ask Aid was first she brought. At that time, she was the Deputy Secretary International Health. So the letter was sent from the ministry to the President of the Indian Nursing Council to start the nurse practitioner midwifery program and, through the Ask Aid Fund. That's how the. So I'm very happy to see the light of the day, which is we have gone so ahead in developing the nurse practitioners midwives, and especially some of the important, very important government of India took an initiative of declaring the midwifery guideline in 2018, and also we were able to develop with all the stakeholders the nurse practitioner, midwives, and educators syllabus. And again, very important development took place, at least for the nursing and midwifery in India. The first scope of practice for the midwives was developed in consultation with the various stakeholders. This is a really, it's going in the history of nursing and midwives in India, because the present our Indian Nursing Council Act is not having a provision of the scope of practice. And that scope of practice was first developed, that paved the way. Then now we have developed the scope of practice for the nurse practitioner critical care. Now the Ministry of Health, Government of India, is asking the Indian Nursing Council to prepare the 10 nurse practitioners programs. So that itself has given so much the priority, where our nurses and midwives can work in a various specialities, because in the medical fraternity they have gone to the super speciality, and you cannot have only general nursing to work in the team as in the healthcare delivery system. At the same side, the nurses also need to be specialized to work in hand for having a good impact and outcome for the patient outcomes. So therefore, the scope of practice, in my opinion, is a very important development which the Government of India and Indian Nursing Council was able to roll it out. Then operationalization of the NMTIs and SMTIs, I think my previous speakers have told how difficult to operationalize all these things, and especially during COVID-19. I think the COVID-19, I think, in my opinion, it gave an opportunity for the nurses and midwives. The visibility of the nurses and midwives in the eyes of the public was increased during the COVID-19. The way our nurses and midwives to work effectively and to coordinate. And many of the people, whenever they talk to me, Dilip Kumar, only nurses and midwives only touched the patient. I think this is the a common remarks I get from the various public, and which when they meet me. So that is an opportunity. Visibility in the eyes of the public of the nursing and midwifery profession has increased. And due to the COVID, I think the rolling out of the NMTIs and also the international midwifery educators to come and start this program also have an impact for for rolling it out the NMTS. And some of the important components of the whole the NPM program, like the selection of the right candidates to be the NPM, is also one of the challenge, and creation of the pool of skilled, competent midwifery educators to train our NPMs in the various NMTIs, and also in each batch to have a 30 people to be selected, right people, is also going to be the was challenge was faced by some of the NMTIs. And the incentives, because the retention, the attraction, and also retaining is one of the big challenge, because we are working in a environment where there is a lot of nursing and midwifery profession positions are coming in the government sector, and when we are engaging them on the contractual, so the retaining them is going to be one of the big challenge. And also the government of India rightly and under the Ayushman Bharat, where the health and wellness centers, where the position of the community mid-level health provider, community health officer has come in. So the lot of states have preferred the nurses and midwives, the graduate nurse. So therefore, many of the people are getting the jobs there. They are living and going there. So therefore, one of the challenges we are going to face for attracting them to the NPM and retaining them is going to be a big challenge. I think one of the problem in not only for the NPM and for our whole the nursing and midwifery, our nursing organization at the state level is very weak. See, in the absence of the deputy directors or the joint directors at the state level, there is nobody to take the agenda of the nurses and midwives forward. I think in some states, even though there are positions, they are not fully involved. So therefore, strengthening the nursing organization at the state directorate level is going to make an impact for the rolling out not only NPM, all the nursing and midwifery initiatives. So therefore, that's one of the big challenge. I think all, especially the SON report and SOMI report, which has global reports, which has come in. Now it is up to the professional associations to work together, how best they can get it operationalized, because these are the global evidences which we are getting. These are the strategic direction of nursing and midwifery, SDNM 21-25, which has been World Health Assembly has passed this resolution. Now it is up to our nursing and midwifery professionals and the various organizations how best to you can make them work with the various stakeholders to implement these SDNM the resolution to make it reality, and that will have an impact but definitely that's going to be a big challenge. See, I think in the new concept which has been brought in this NPM program, the dual role, I think we have also brought nurse practitioner critical care program, a person, the model of the where in CMC Vellore, where the dual model where the teachers are also practicing in the clinical setting. So that type of model which we have brought into the nurse practitioner critical care, similarly we have brought into the nurse practitioner midwifery. So this is a new concept, and I think we have to make this going to be a big challenge. Once they are entering into this NPM program, we have to educate the people and also the faculty, because many people they are not aware of this dual role. That's also is facing one of the challenge. And the especially the since it's going to be a dual role, the College of Nursing principal and the clinical setting, they should have a coordination. If they don't have a proper coordination, this program will have a big impediment. So therefore, I think going beyond to that, I think Indian Nursing Council, when we started this program in Calcutta, we were able to have the one of the big stakeholder, the professor of the obstetrics and gynecology, was the first person was involved. I think if you don't involve them, I think the rolling out is going to be a big challenge. So therefore, the involving the at least in the stakeholders going to make an impact in proper rolling it out the NPM program. I think some of the opportunities which I think rightly, when I said scope of practice, the at least our the National Nursing and Midwifery Commission, which is almost the bill is ready, is going to be introduced in the Parliament shortly, and in that scope of practice has been included. So that will enable us for the working out the scope of practice for the, and also the legal empowerment is one of the challenge which we are facing for the various procedures and protocols and the drugs which we have to administer. So for all these things, legal empowerment, and this NNMC is going to the bill which is going to make an impact, and especially that component of scope of practice has been included. And also similarly, once they are working in the clinical setting, where if they don't have a legal empowerment, they will have a problem to work in day in and day out. I think to make this whole NPM program effectively to rolling it out, I think whatever the guidelines which has been laid down in the by the government of India, that needs to be followed very effectively, like strict adherence to the curriculum requirement to make it quality component has been really included. So, and also the good coordination between all the partners and the stakeholders is going to make a very important impact for improving the quality of the NPM program. The commitment on the part of the state government, having the right people at the state directorate to give the proper guideline and also proper supervision and management is also going to have an impact about the quality. And as laid down by the all the as per the midwifery guideline, the coordination between the school, College of Nursing and the clinical setting is also going to, and also as per the guidelines, the midwifery guideline laid down in that book, we should have a national task force and state midwifery task force and the district midwifery task force. I think these are the three committees which are there, which will have an impact so that they can meet periodically to take out the stock of the where are some of the bottlenecks are there, and properly taking at the policy level, those things can be addressed. So therefore, we have come a long way of establishing about NPMC trained so far about 144, and NPMs under training about 259. I think it's a big number. I think we are gradually moving towards the number. At the same time, equality needs to be addressed. And for that, I think various stakeholders have to work together to make it reality with an ultimate objective of these nurse midwifery practitioners are going to play a very important role in the healthcare delivery system with an ultimate objective of the addressing the our United Nations goal of the SDG goals and also the United Nations goal of universal health coverage. I think our nurse practitioners midwives are going to play a very significant role in the healthcare delivery system. So thank you very much for inviting me to share my thoughts in this process. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. T. Dilip Kumar, for enlightening us with your thoughts. It's an honor for us to present a token of appreciation to the dignitaries on the dais. For that, I may request Mohammed Ehsan to please felicitate Dr. Padmani Kashyap. Video message, ICM President. Brigadier Punita Sharma to Dr. Deepika Sisil Khaka. Mohammed Ehsan to Dr. T. Dilip Kumar and to Dr. Somesh. Brigadier Punita Sharma to Dr. Aprajita. Thank you, everyone. Let us now hear a video message by Franca Kerry, President, the International Confederation of Midwives. She has been serving in this leadership role for more than 6 years. Can we please have the video?
Dear Indian midwives, from the airport lounge in Amsterdam, Dear Indian midwives, from the airport lounge in Amsterdam, I want to wish you a happy IDM. As the president of the International Confederation of Midwives, consisting of 142 midwives associations, together we represent more than 1 million midwives globally, including the Society of Midwives of India. I want to applaud you all for what you do to unite midwives in India. The evidence is sounder than ever. The return on investment in midwives is calculated to be 16-fold. Midwifery is clearly the way forward for a healthy and sustainable future. Yet, we know that there is still a shortage of 900,000 midwives globally, and added to that, we are one of the most poorly paid healthcare professionals. Investing in midwives educated to ICM's international standards is crucial and a question of political will. I call on you all, as midwife leaders as well as other decision makers in maternity care, to invest in the enabling environment for midwives, such as better education and regulation. Our pivotal role within the maternity team, with the women and her baby and community at the center, needs to be recognized and cherished. As ICM, we recognize the unifying role midwives associations like yourselves have played in improving quality, respectful care for women and their communities. So I urge all of you to congratulate each other with our day and to feel inspired while you commit yourselves to your important work for women, babies, and communities in India. Thank you. Bye.
Let's now proceed for a short tea break, and I request you to please. Yes, sir. Sure.
Before we go for tea, I have one taking this liberty to just barge in here. In this inaugural session, wanted to take an opportunity to especially thank a few people in this audience. And these are the midwifery educators who are affecting change. I have seen them. Both international midwifery educators, they have left their homes, their countries, and are affecting change one day at a time, one client at a time, one institution at a time, with full leaderships and support from the national midwifery educators. And it is them who are affecting change in a culture which is reasonably doctor led. I'm It's the culture of doctor led care, and to incubate and transition to a philosophy and a mindset where midwives lead care. They are encountering challenges every hour, every day, every week, from things like getting a chair, yes, to getting a laptop, or getting some other administrative clearances, as well as uh, organizing the way that care is delivered, where midwives are at the center of it. So can you please, if I can request you, you can just stand up and give us an opportunity to acknowledge and recognize you. Thank you so much. Back to you.
Thank you, sir. So now let's proceed for a short tea break, and I request you all to please bring in your tea so that we start another session on time. Thank you.
Hello everyone. I request everyone to please come back from the teas in another 5 minutes. Thank you. Requesting everyone to please bring in their tea and snacks back so that we can begin our session. Since most of us have our flights booked as per the agenda, so just a earnest request if we can just get back. Thank you. Hello everyone, please be seated. We are starting with our next session. Okay. We now move towards an exciting panel discussion named What Midwives Want, Voices and Calls to Action from the Midwives in India, where midwives will share their perspectives, aspirations, and learnings from their own professional experiences for a strengthened and effective midwifery workforce in India. I invite Ms. Medha Gandhi, Lead Program Advocacy, Family Health, Immunization and Infectious Diseases from the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, and Dr. Aparajita Gogoi, Executive Director, C3 and National Coordinator, White Ribbon Alliance India, to take forward the discussion with our panel of midwifery leaders, educators, and practitioners, consisting of Professor Balamani Bose, Principal NMTI Meerut,
Welcome to the tutorial for the
Principal SMTI Patna, Dr. Geeta Parwanda from SOMI, Ms. Bharti Suryavamshi, NPME, and Ms. Catherine R. Jones, IME.
good morning, everyone. Thank you very much, Somesh. So I understand that we are amidst a lot of teaching faculty, and I'll start this conversation by saying that neither am I a teaching faculty, nor am I a doctor, neither am I a nurse, nor a midwife. But 22 years, but 22 years, and I think from the heart, have been working closely, deeply associated and attached with the world of improving health outcomes for women and children, looking at the whole reproductive age, being a sexual and reproductive health and rights supporter, and now with the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, having an opportunity to work with you, I feel that I have a little bit of legitimacy to be on this stage amidst such an august gathering of people who have been working so extensively on improving quality of care, especially on this day that we are marking International Day of Midwives. And Prajita and I go back thinking about our times from 2003 onwards, when even talking about the word midwifery was a challenge, making people understand what that meant. And I can see Manju smiling year to year to today, where we've come from a journey where we were talking about skilled birth attendance, a 21-day program, a 3-month program, request to crunch it to a 2-day program, to today, where because of the effort of all of you in this room and the passion that you bring to ensuring quality of care for girls and women, and I will say girls and women to the point that Somesh made in the morning, that we need to be working, and Dr. Deepika Khaka made in the morning, saying we need to be working with girls and women from an early age so as to be helping them to actualize their true potential. So really, I think we want to start this session with an applause to all of you in this room for the energy that you bring. The fact of the matter is that as of today, the challenges for you have really begun. We will continue to be behind you to support. But with the introduction of any new initiative, there is a mild earthquake. So the challenge is really for you to stand tall in that earthquake and to make sure that you cement it like a plant that has roots going deep, to really cement it and to strengthen nursing and midwifery in India, and to establish collaborative midwifery led care in India. So this session is really all about hearing what midwives want. So basically what you want, and we're going to just be the channels of having that conversation. I'm going to request you, Prajita, to get us started for this one.
Thank you, Medha, and welcome, panel. Often all of us here have very good intentions. And we think that we know what women want, we know what nurses want, we know what young girls want, we know what midwives want, and we design programs, implement programs with the best intentions at heart. But sometimes it's also important to ask women directly, ask nurses and midwives directly about what do they want. So White Ribbon had done a campaign called What Women Want, where we spoke to 3.5 lakh women across the country. Then it became a global campaign, and as of today, we have spoken to 1.5 million women. Our question was simple: what do you want? When you come to seek services, what is it that you want? So that campaign has, of course, grown. But today, I want to talk to you about the What Midwives Want campaign, which the White Ribbon, SOMI, TNAI, and ICN did together about a year back. So in India, we spoke to about 11,500 nurses and midwives, and we said, what is it that you want? There is a wonderful policy right now. Everyone in the room, outside the room, are looking at how do you make this policy into a reality? How do you bring midwives into our health systems? How do you bring women to the midwives? But we thought that it is good to pause for a second and for a minute and ask midwives that what is it that you need? And we have the answers. The midwifery campaign results are with us. Anybody who's interested in knowing details about what midwives are asked for can get in touch with the White Ribbon Alliance. But I do want to share that if you ask me what were the top asks from midwives, midwives ask for an enabling environment where they can practice, whether it is better infrastructure. Sumesh referred to the chair in the morning, and we know that that's a reality. Midwives wanted an enabling environment, infrastructure, HR support, etc. Midwives also wanted that, this is really kind of a little, we had to apply our minds to understand when I think the second or the third highest ask was midwife wanted overall improvement in the delivery of maternal health care, which meant that midwives are not just thinking about themselves, but actually thinking of the women who was coming to them. Um, Many midwives ask for that it is really time that we look deeply into the dynamics of autonomy and power balance and gender and how it plays out in the profession. They ask that we cannot ignore gender dynamics when you're talking of promoting midwifery. So we are here today to hear from our esteemed panel about what can we do at this point in time in order to support India's midwifery initiative. And I would really like to first ask Ms. Bharati Suryavanshi, who is an NPME from NMTI Wardha, who has completed her midwifery training, I think during the first batch. I was trying to find you actually. Sorry. You who had finished her first batch, she was part of the first batch, and I think you graduated from the Fernandez Hospital in 2019. Yeah, in the first batch, and when I think COVID hit, when you when you were there, and you have also successfully completed the SME training in December 22. So you have had first-hand experience. So we would really want to hear from you about what more can be done in order to support all of you in order to make the NPM initiative a really kind of something that works for the midwives too. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Together again from evidence to reality. And this is the good theme I feel explain and happy to explain this theme. Because in my past experience from 2000 year, what I work in my practice and what I learned as a NPME in Fernandez as a GY first batch, that is the evidence-based practice. And the reality, what is the reality? What I going to practice and implement in NMTI Maharashtra, and this is the first my opportunity to going to practice as a reality. And what we practiced, this is our first batch as a Maharashtra NPME we completed from last 2000 June 2022 to last December 2022, and this is my good reality and I experienced as a NPME. So this is my positive experience that I feel as a NPME. We need to focus on the good infrastructure. So what I learned in Fernandez, I want to implement all things, evidence-based practice, respectful maternity care, then continuity of care with the mother, and that is respectful care. So in my community setting, there is mothers are not aware about the midwifery services. So there is also no the community awareness for the midwifery. This is the first time program in our Maharashtra. So I realized that we need to first educate to the ANC related to our program. So with the help of Dr. Poonam Shivkumar Verma, HOD of the our MGIMS Sevagram Vardha, we going to start slowly our practice. So I just realized that in our midwife OPD, I started the NC education room because what we learned in our Fernandez training, there is birth NC active birth workshop, that is birth education to the mothers, and mothers are aware regarding the what they want, midwifery services, the positions, exercise, diet, everywhere educated. But in my Maharashtra, mothers are not well educated, financially settled, and they don't know about the midwifery services. So with the help of my mentor Kat and Karim, I established the health education room in OPD clinic. So slowly started the health education room and active workshop to aware regarding the midwifery services, what you want as a midwife, what we're going to practice, and related to the MLC. Because this is a new project, no others are aware regarding this program. And really Kathy's helped to me for the active birth workshop, and I get confidence to establish in our OPD clinic. And also our principal, Ansi Ramesh ma'am, from Kastuba Nursing College, Sevagram, she helps to our clinical setup and the arrangement of the students with first batch. And really, this gives me positive experience in the MMK. So, as per discussed previously, Dr. Padmini ma'am, we need the quality care. But what about the without the infrastructure and the good facilities, or what we need to what are the related to military care, that equipment and all things. So we need the adequate supply of the all things to give the quality care and give the continuity of care with the mother in the MLCU, in the labor room, and provide one-to-one care with the mother, that mother experience positive birth experience, and that is impact on mother positive for lifelong. So as every pregnant woman should want, I want midwifery care in the MHC. So I just want aware this program to each and every mother, and what's midwife and what is this cadre and what we want in the, not only in the Maharashtra or Maharashtra state, all over India, every mother wants midwifery care. And this is my initial experience.
Thank you so much for sharing your experience, and clearly being a pioneer is never easy. So we thank you so much for taking this step and leading the way and helping us understand the opportunities and the pathway forward. So from hearing about that experience, I'll move to you, Professor Balamani. As you look at hearing those experiences of what it has been to learn and imbibe and offer those services, to leading a program where in a state in the state of Uttar Pradesh we're setting up the first institute. She talked about what it means at an individual level. So really looking to you to talk about it at an institutional level. What is it that as an institution we can do to offer that support to our midwives coming in? And as a leader, what are the things that you think you need to set this program up?
Welcome to the good morning panel, and thanks Dr. Meda for asking this, because it helps me to open up further. And yes, I do agree with what the enemy Ms. Bharati said. Yes, incentivism as well, creating a cadre, especially for the midwives, is very much needed. Apart from that, this creation of cadre, we need to appreciate the enemies or the educators. That is ultimately it is needed at this time. Whereas being as a nurse leader in NMTA Meerut, I would like to explain, like NMTA Meerut was established, or it started its training, the first batch in June 2022. Whereas if you see the time, it may look very shorter, but the brainstorming and all the back efforts, it starts in January 2020, and these efforts are being implemented in June 2022. Whereas we have completed the first batch of 6 months residential program, and we have successfully entered into the mentorship program. And we have been assured regarding the second batch of NPME trainees by our UPNHM. At this time, I really thank Dr. Devish Tripathi, who is presenting here. So please, so this is the first thing. Whereas coming to the challenges, yes, as a nurse leader, leading the midwifery initiative in Meerut, Uttar Pradesh, we have, yes, challenges. There is always, good things will not come without hurdles. So we had challenges. So first challenge, few challenges I would like to tell you. Like first one is getting acceptance by the medical field and nurses and paramedics. That was the first challenge. To be very this one, even previously before the initiative was happened, very many brainstormings and station, everything has happened by the GOI, UPNHM, as well the stakeholders like JAPAIGO, WRI, even there it was there was a need for breaking the ice. It's like to make them understand what is the real scope and functions of a midwife, and why there is a need for separate cadre of midwife to be established. So there comes the acceptance. So with this, what we have done is, with the help of the supporting development partners, JAPIGO and WRA, we have conducted so many conducted sensitization sessions consecutively. And whereas at present, the positive point is that the nurse have expressed, many of the nurses have expressed to become a certified midwife. And just now before this meeting, I just had a conversation with our UPNHM, Dr. Devesh Tripathi, and he also agreed for it. Yes, madam, we will that open. Let us have a brainstorming and then we will go. So that is the positive point that we have got in NMTI Meerut. Coming to some other challenges that we had was, yes, establishing MLCO. As we know that it is an initiative, always we need a guideline to implement successfully if any initiative comes. But we have not, this NMTI Meerut and the NMAs and IMAs have not waited for that guidelines or whatever. But before that, in June 2022 itself, they have started MLEAU, Midwifery-led Antenatal Care Unit, whereas recently a successful midwifery-led care unit, birthing unit was established. And at present, over 1900 antenatal screening is being done by our NMAs and IMAs. And independent births after establishing MLCU. Before establishing MLCU, these people were practice neighborhood setup. Whereas after establishing MLCU, 54 deliveries. Of course, I can understand this two-digit number may look like very smaller, but to be very honest, independently we started practicing and established MLCU in January only. So I hope so with all your support, this number will go triple and four digits. So that is the one. And at this juncture, I would like to mention, like MSU establishment, we have a great inspiration here, Dr. Yogita. Madam, could you please just show? Yeah. She is Dr. Yogita, who is the MSU coordinator of our district women hospital. She, being a doctor professional and OBG specialist, she has given her, so much efforts and inputs over here. Thank you, madam. And the next challenge that we had was a few conducting. As we know, there are so many personnel challenges. Like it is a new cadre that we are going to create. But even then, MLCU as well NMTA. Our NMTA and MLCU, we are situated 6 kilometers apart by distance. But our enemies and IMAs have never given up. And those people are the one who are the faces of our NMTA. They have successfully run this over 1900 antenatal as well over 53 live births in MLCU, which is independent. Apart from that, 30 collaborate. I'm sorry. Thank you. And 30 collaborative births have taken place. In front of this, at this juncture of International Midwives Day, I would like to introduce our enemies. Yes, Mrs. Renuka, Ms. Shurabi, Ms. Rajni, and Ms. Anuradha, along with our IMS International Midwives, Ms. Renata, please, and Ms. Louisa. These people are our faces of NMTI, and the success stories of NMTI is like, thank you. Usually, in MLCU, usually they conduct the birth not in supine positions, but in alternative birth positions. They have encouraged, usually semi-sitting and side-lying. And out of these many births, there were only 2 episiotomies were being done in an independent practice out of 53. And they were encouraging physiological births as well when our Padmini Kashyap madam has explained regarding the mother, and they always keep the mother's and child's rights in mind. And thank you so much, team. And apart from that, another one challenge that we faced was personnel in MLCU. We have established MLCU. Simultaneously, we are managing NMPA and MLCU. Of course, when the next batch comes, we are assured for the second batch. Whereas when the next batch comes, we have to, these enemies will have to look after the education, that is teaching part, as well the MLCU part. So that is really a great challenge for us. And hopefully our UPNHM has given a target of creating 1908 NPMs within this, before this 2024. So I think this will be a permanent solution for, this personnel challenges, I believe. And thank you, sir, for that. And this NMTA is running with coordinator. We have a coordinator. This is, yes, Ms. Shiny, who is successfully running this, all these coordination. It's really making an effort. Thank you so much. And for acceptance cadre, we have, it is, in depth, we have to mention one important person over here. Sister Sangeeta, can I just, yeah. She is a nurse midwife, basically a nurse midwife, and having the lead role in taking this in charge. She is the key in changing the attitude of all the nurses over there, along with the hospital manager. Thank you so much, sister. So these are this one, like experiences that we have as a conclusion. Yes, as we are going to enter into the second batch and all those things successfully, I would like to tell in front of this great audience, or I mean great people, that NMTA Meerut has initiated, along with the development partners Tobago and WRI, and it has already created District Midwifery Action Group with the chairmanship of district magistrate. And the key persons who are all the stakeholders will be playing a key role. And I am really feeling privileged to be one among the key role persons over here. And shortly that also will be out. And apart from that, for MLCU guidelines, I feel immensely pleasure to be a part of NHSRC. Like we had a technical specifications group, and I'm being one part. So all these made strong, and it has strengthened me in midwifery. Even I'm a nurse midwife, but I will support for a separate midwifery cadre that needs for independent practice. Thank you so much for this opportunity. I'm concluding my words, but not actions. Thank you.
Fabulous. What a powerful and powerful oration you gave there. And you great, these were the pioneers, and this is how they paved the way through for a cadre that is effectively established. And we will have India shining bright in a few years with the midwifery.
how do we strengthen this collaboration and build that trust? So really love to hear from you.
We have been very greetings to all. A very happy International Midwife Day, and I'm so thankful that you have given me opportunity to speak about some problem-based solution, that how midwifery cadre can go on. First of all, the perception. I would like to say perception from the midwife, yes, and their mindset, perception from the stakeholders, and perception from the mothers. Yes, they are ready to have their women reproductive life under the midwife. And with the effort of him, I am from Uttar Pradesh, and just now Professor Bala has given many data that how midwifery is started, initiation has been taken. So now, when the perception and mindset is there, so why not we have a separate cadre? My humble opinion, a midwifery cadre can be a separate identity. First of all, it can be autonomous, and yes, the inter-collaborative model should be there, or it needs to be started. As we know that midwifery stands on 4C, that is continuity of care, coordination, and compassion care, and support part is that midwifery starts from community and ends in the community. So why not there is the separate cadre is there as a solution, and when the cadre is announced, as we know the sincere effort has been taken on the basis of midwifery guidelines 2018 and the guidance note from Indian Nursing Council in 2019, why there should not be on top on career progression. Career pathway, it has mentioned, so I think the career pathway should go on. The scope of practice need to be mentioned, but there should be certain expected outcome so that tomorrow we have midwives, decision makers, are we teach them breastfeeding, but we are not lactational trainers. So again, this is the third point, and there are many more points. Both certificate name. They say in midwifery that psychological pain relief method, but the therapy trainer, sometimes acupuncture is also therapy is used for using the pain relief. So again, I'm asking you, these are small certification license. If it can be also added, I think a separate identity can be made. With that, I think I conclude, since many of the achievements of the Uttar Pradesh MNCU has been mentioned, but we have a mindset now. If you enter to district hospital, since Dr. Yogita is also there, now even a patient, they say